Hello YouTube and welcome to Prime Productions. I'm here to help enhance your tabletop gaming experience. Okay, so a while ago I released a video, Top 5 Low-Level Items in Pathfinder 2e. By low-level items, I meant anything levels 0 or 1 that you could buy with your initial starting money. And a lot of you liked it and wanted to see more, so today I thought I'd go through some higher level items to show you what else you could buy that's out there. In particular, item levels 2 through 10. If this video does well, I might do a levels 11 to 20 video someday, but since most Pathfinder games tend to be lower level, let's start with that. So, just so everyone is on the same page, by items I mean things that are not weapons, armor, consumable, or wands. Yes, those are technically items, but I feel they deserve their own video. Instead, I'm going to look towards things like cloaks, belts, goggles, that kind of stuff. I'm also going to limit myself to the new GM core items only, just to let you know. Why GM core only? Well, as of the making of this video, the newest book with magic items that has come out is the GM core, so it's the most likely book that players are least familiar with. Now, I'm going to be judging these items based on how useful the item is at the level you can get it, and how useful it continues to be as you level up, not its overall power. If I was only concerned with overall power, then the entire list would just be filled with level 9 and 10 items. Of course, I have a few honorable mentions before we get started into the main list. First honorable mention goes to all the skill-increasing items. A mage's hat, diplomat's badge, they all buff skills that might be useful in a game. These are particularly useful if your class relies on a skill, like the persona mask, which boosts performance for bards. This is useful for several bard abilities like counter performance, along with many, many others. There are a lot of these skill boosting items, and I don't think filling the entire list with them would really serve anyone. Go check them out though, there are a lot of them and they are great. Now, I may mention some items that grant skill bonuses in the list proper, but those will be for their non-skill boosting abilities. Another honorable mention goes to the old staples that I shouldn't have to talk about. The spacious pouch, the remaster version of the bag of holding, is of course going to be useful in dragging treasure back to town, so it's a no-brainer. Everyone kinda knows about these items already. I want to talk about items that aren't on everyone's radar. Last honorable mention are the doubling rings, which duplicate all of your fundamental runes onto another weapon. There's even a higher level version that copies property runes too. These are kind of essential if you are a two-weapon fighter, but I can't in good conscience put them on the list because they're really only useful if you are a dual wielder. Alright, moving on to the actual list. Number 5, Healer's Gloves. So these level 4 items let you, as a single action, touch someone and heal them for 2d6 plus 7 damage. Now that's not a lot, but it's certainly enough to get someone back on their feet. This is a great emergency heal button, especially if you are not a party healer. This way, if the party healer goes down, you can touch them and bam, healer's back, and they can then proceed to heal everyone else. This is great even at higher levels. Plus, it doesn't have the concentrate trait, so barbarians can even do this while raging. They're kind of a steal at only 80 GP. And hey, +1 to medicine is a nice little added bonus. Moving on to number 4, the Winged Sandals. So at first glance, these level 10 sandals are kinda cool. They grant a 30-foot fly speed for 10 minutes once a day, which is nice. But the real thing here is their other ability. They automatically cast Gentle Landing, the remastered version of Featherfall, if you start falling. Like I said, that Gentle Landing, by the way, that's automatic. It does not use up your reaction. You could be unconscious, falling to your death, and the sandals would still activate. They can be a lifesaver, literally. And they can do this once every 10 minutes. It's not just a once-a-day thing. Gentle Landing is one of those spells that no one really memorizes because it's so weird for you to need it, but when you do need it, you really need it. So having an item that does it for you is fantastic. Plus, like I said, flying for 10 minutes once a day is always nice, not only for combat, but for utility as well. For number 3, we have the Boots of Bounding. Okay, so these level 7 boots just straight up make you faster. You gain a +5 item bonus to speed, and when you leap an extra 5 feet farther. The crazy thing is, you can actually double benefit from these boots. See, the leap action lets you, for one action, leap 10 feet, or 15 feet if your speed is 30 or better. So if you start with a speed of 25, then these boots up you to 30. In turn, that means your base leap goes from 10 to 15, but because of the boots, you now leap 5 feet farther, or 20 feet. That's a one-action leap that lets you clear 20 feet of difficult terrain, or trip wires, or cross a stream without needing to roll. Pretty great. And remember, unlike the long jump action, the leap action lets you jump without a running start. Number 2, the Wayfinder. Okay, so this is the big iconic magic item from Pathfinder. If you are unfamiliar, a Wayfinder is a compass that can cast light at will, so automatically it basically just replaces a torch. But here's the great thing, a Wayfinder also has a slot that lets you slide an Aeon Stone into it. When you do, the Aeon Stone gets a second power, like being able to cast Air Bubble on yourself. So not only does this compass prevent your Aeon Stone from being stolen as it orbits your head, but it also gives you a bonus on top of it. Now, it's not perfect. You can't buy multiple Wayfinders and load them all up with Aeon Stones. The rules specifically don't allow that. But if you have that 16th level Aeon Stone, you can keep it safe in this 28 GP level 2 item and get a secondary benefit out of it to boot. Number 1, Eyes of the Cat. At first glance, this level 9 item looks pretty boring. It gives you low light vision and a +2 to perception checks, and actually only sight-based perception checks. But here's the thing, that's actually huge. Remember, a +2 bonus is the equivalent of a training increase, from say expert to master. That is fantastic for just about anybody. First of all, perception is the initiative score for most people in most combats. Yes, of course, there are times when other things can be rolled for initiative, but perception seems to be by far and away the most common. Additionally, perception is used for a whole slew of other things, such as finding traps, discovering how to influence people in social encounters, and figuring out if people are lying, just to name a few. Some of those activities allow for other roles as well, but all of them always allow perception as an option. Now, the best thing about these goggles is not that they can make someone who's good at perception even better, it's that they can make someone who's mediocre at perception competitive. Many classes only get up to expert in perception, but with this item and the Canny Acumen feat, if you take it at level 17, you can effectively become legendary in perception, and that can really help a class out. Let's take a look at just one example. The psychic-only cantrip Foresee the Path requires you to make a perception check against an enemy's will DC. Normally, this is terrible because psychics don't have an incentive to invest in wisdom, the relevant attribute for perception, and they only get up to expert in perception. But with this item, they can effectively get up to master, and like I said at level 17 with the Canny Acumen feat, can effectively get up to legendary. This helps to make what would be a bad cantrip somewhat better. Well, that's all for today. Just a few items I wanted to talk about that I don't see get enough love in the community. So if you find yourself with some extra money in town, or if you want to craft some magic items of your own, consider one of these options. Hey, quick shout out at the end of the video. Just wanted to thank you for making it this far. Thanks for all of you out there who are watching and helping me make this channel a success. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you want to help out, you can like, comment, and subscribe. That tells both me and YouTube that you like this stuff and want to see more of this kind of content. Thank you, good luck, and happy gaming!